Hi guys, welcome to this session on Microsoft Access. What I would like to do in this session is show you how to create a customer relationship management system. Now, I have an Excel file with the tables that I want to create for this system. So here you can see I've got 5 tables: customers, a marketing table so I can record where people find us, courses that people can do, a status, pending initial, second call, first call, callback, and all that sort of stuff, and then a booking table where people can book courses. So I'm going to create these 5 tables in an Access database, and then follow this through over the next few videos and create a fully functional CRM database. So first of all, let's create this customers table. So we need customer ID, company address, postcode, email, and website. So back to Access. I've already got table 1 open, but I'm just going to go into design and call that TBL customers. And then we're ready to do customer ID as our primary key. So the primary key is already set there. If I didn't want that, I could take it off there. I can leave that on auto number. That's okay, because every time I add a new customer, it'll just add a new person. So just quickly looking at the Excel table. So we want the company, address, city. So company, coming down, address, coming down, city, postcode, and then email and website. And just quickly check that again. So we've got more postcode. Yep. So that's good. Now I need to set the data types. All of these are short text, which is great. It's up to you whether you change this to hyperlink or not. I'm going to leave that as text, but I'm going to put this to hyperlink because it is a web page, so I'll set that to hyperlink. Alright, so there is that table. I can just save that. When I view that, you can see that it's all ready to go. And if I need to make any changes at a later date, I can come back and add some extra details. Now, going back into the Excel file, I need a marketing table. Now, this is just a list of options. And I need a courses table, and this is just a list of courses. So this is just single column tables, and so is this one. So this could just be lookup tables, to be honest, and then this is going to be a table where you're going to have some data to be entered. So I think I'll do this one next, booking. So if I go back to Access and create a new table, create new table, table design, booking ID is a primary key, and then date of booking, in fact date of training. I'm not really bothered about the date of booking, and that will be a date time field, and I'll set a impact mask on that shortly. So what else did I have in there? Let's have a quick look. So we've got course, amount, location. So course, amount, location, and a quick look at the Excel sheet again. Tutor, customer ID, tutor, customer ID, so that I can join it to the customers table. And quick look, customer ID, invoice paid, and PO number. Invoice paid, PO number if there is one, and that's just going to be a yes no field. Invoice paid, yes no. Customer ID is going to be a number field because that is an auto number. Tutors text, location is text, amount is going to be currency, course, probably going to do a lookup. Date of training, need to set that as an input mask. It's going to ask me to save this. save this as TBL booking. Okay. No, primary key. I'll set a primary key in a second. So this is the format that I want, short date. So it's like that. That'll do. Finish. And then set the primary keys booking ID. Primary key booking ID. Save that. Let's just have a quick check at this table. Number, location, course, state of training, tutor, independent. Okay, that'll do for now. So I'll save that. Have a quick look. And then maybe I could add VAT and things like that at a later date. In fact, I better add it now actually. So I'll call it VATable. So sometimes you don't actually have VAT, and then I'll do a calculated field to look at the amount. So VAT will be a calculated field, and that should trigger the expression builder. So it's going to be amount times 0.2. Okay to that. Let's have a quick look. Save. So if I put 100 in there just to check this, I need an ID number. Yeah, it's worked. I need to set that to currency. That works okay. Back into design, format to currency, down the bottom there, currency. Save that. Now close this. Now I need a table for courses, so create a table, table design, and this is just going to be one column of courses or course. It's going to be short text, and I'm going to save this as TBL courses, and I'm going to have this as a lookup table, so LU I like to put on there so I know what that is. Click OK to that. I don't really need a primary key, so no. And then I can look at this and you can start adding your courses. So Access, Excel, Word, etc. I'll just do a couple. Probably need to qualify these with the level. Access intro, and then Excel intro, Word intro, etc. PowerPoint intro. So you just add each type. So I would have Access, Intermediate, and so on and so on. I'll just leave that for now. Close that one down. Close that one down. Then go back to my Excel spreadsheet. What do I need next? I need a marketing one. So a lookup for marketing. So new table, create, design. So this is going to be marketing. Table is going to be marketing. Let's just say the table is marketing, TBL marketing. Okay, I need a field. So let's have a quick look. We need a website, social media. So website, social media, word of mouth used before, word of mouth used before, and another quick look. Online classroom mail shot, online classroom mail shot, and then customer ID, record ID. Record ID needs to be the primary key for this one. A customer ID, that needs to be a number as well, so just have that as a number. That needs to be a number, customer ID, because it's a number in customers. And the rest of these need to be yes no fields. So if I just use my tab key to come across and type Y, 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 Y. So we can do a bit of analysis on this, follow it through and do a little sales funnel later on. So that's okay. Save that one, call it TBL marketing. Yeah, it's remembered that. Okay, let's have a quick look at what that would look like. So they're going to be little tick boxes when you do a record. Close that down. Now the last table is status. So this is going to be a table called status. Create table, and let's have a look at the fields. So status is going to be record ID and customer ID. So record ID is going to be the primary key, and customer ID is going to be the way I can link it into this. So let's have a quick look. So we want pending initial second. So pending initial second. Then we had first callback 1, 2, and 3. Callback 1. Start an L. Callback 2, callback 3, callback 2, callback 3. These are all text fields. Have a quick look at that one. What else? Lost, booked, lost, booked, lost. Okay, so let's change these. That's a number field. So is that one? Number. So I think we could maybe have a date field in here, date of call, callback 1. Maybe I should put some dates in here. So callback, let's do a date, let's make this a date, and callback 2, date, and callback 3 can be a date. Booked is going to be yes, yes, no. Lost can be yes, no. And pending can be yes, no as well. And initial yes, no. In fact, they can all be yes, no's. So again, you're just going to use this as analysis. So we're saving this table as TBL status. In fact, I need another date in here. So initial date, initial inquiry date. I didn't have that on my little spreadsheet, so I'll change that to date time. Now each of these date times, you need to use the input mask, so I'll just save the table, otherwise it's just going to ask me. And then input mask for that one is going to be short text, short time should I say, short date even, finish. And these three need to be short date as well. Irritating that it does that each time. Short date, finish, short date, finish, and that one's short date. Input mask, short date, finish. Now, you may find as you're doing this that you might need to adjust some of these fields as you start typing some test data into test database. But if I have a quick look at that, and obviously when you use this, you'll realize that if there's any mistakes, you can then fix them before you start doing loads of queries and loads of forms and reports. But let's have a close on that one And so we've got our 5 tables, and those are the 5 tables that we had initially. Obviously this needs filling out, the courses one. Now what I want to do let's have a look at the bookings one. So we've got booking course. I want to look up on that field, so I can look at the courses table, lookup. So if I go into design on this course, go to lookup, change this to a combo box, and it is a table that I have, and the table is called courses lookup. Save that, have a look. So now I should have a drop down list of those courses I typed in there. Location, I could also do a lookup. Tutors, I haven't got a list of tutors, but again you could create a table for tutors, which I will do actually, because if you don't, you can just have anything in there. So table design, call it tutor ID, first name, surname, and again you can come back in here and add any extra fields that you want. So if I save that one as TBL tutor, okay to that one, I'll set primary key with that, tutor ID, save, and just add a couple of people. In fact, go back into that, that needs to be set to auto number, so it just gives me an auto number, so I don't have to worry about that. Save. So if I put my name in there as a tutor, now there's a mistake I've made straight away, so perhaps I should have this as just one field. If I go back in there, because I want this as a lookup table, so just delete first name. So instead of surname, I'll just call it full name. I was going to type name, but it doesn't like name, so it lets you use it, but so then I will put my full name in there, like so. And okay, so there's my little lookup. So now on tutor, I can do a lookup to that table. So tutor lookup combo lookup at tutors, table tutors. I need to put LU on the end of that. Okay, it's looking at the ID field. Don't really need that actually, so let me just go and change that. I don't need an ID field. It's only a lookup table. Delete. I could have changed that. Save. No, that's it. Yeah, so you can just select a person now. You can select a course on that one. So that's okay. Close that down, rename that LU at the end of it, just so it's not a proper table as such, it's just a lookup table. Now what we need to do is link these tables together. So I'm going to database tools, relationships, just going to drag on customers, expand that so you can see the fields, and booking, expand that. So customer ID to customer ID, so one customer can make many bookings. Enforce referential integrity, one-to-many relationship, create. Okay, this doesn't want me to do that because I've got a record already in the bookings table without an ID, without a person. So let's just get rid of that for a minute. It's got customer ID 0, that's why that is. I don't want to start filling this up with information, so just delete that, close that down, try that again. It's important that you do get enforce this. This does need to be on. That will stop you creating orphan records like you just had there in bookings. Now that lets you do it. So that one's one customer can have many bookings. Don't need these LU ones. Now, marketing. If I have a look at marketing, I'm open that one up a little bit. One customer will respond many times, hopefully, to marketing questions. How did you hear from us? That sort of stuff. And then status, the status table. Again, this has got the customer ID field as the primary key, and then enforced referential integrity create. And then you just need to tidy this up a little bit so you can see this. But what I want to be able to see is the flow of this database. So let's move customers into the middle. So customers is the main form. So if you look at this, a customer can book many courses. A customer will have potentially many marketing responses. Could be the same one if they keep booking, or it could be this one used before. And their status, if they're inquiring, will be one of these, booked or lost or whatever. So I'm going to save those relationships, and everything is ready to start getting some data in and filling some data in, which I'll do on the next video. But for now, that is the end of this one. So in the next video, we'll look at filling some data in. So I'll already type all the data in so we don't have to waste time doing that. And then we'll look at creating queries and forms to interrogate this data. And then the session after that, we'll look at doing reports to get the information, the management information out of this. We may have to tweak a few things as we go in if they're not working before we go live with it. But hopefully this is set the scene, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for your time.